Okay, so I'm about to dispatch of my quail for our Thanksgiving dinner. I have a couple already in my ice bath, I have a couple in the sink, and I'll show you what we do to get them ready. So I have one here. You want to make sure you hold onto those wings because they will flap. Put them upside down. Yeah, calm them down. Hold them firmly in my left hand because I'm right-handed. You gotta rub on their necks. All you really do need is a good pair of scissors. I got these sharpened a little bit feathery right now. What you want to do is hold them backwards, and then the head is gone. And you let them bleed out. Now I have another bowl in my other sink of all my little parts, so I put the beak in there. And you'll feel their body twitch. They're dead now, they have no brain anymore, so they're no pain. And you'll feel they'll kind of get stiff and their feathers will come out and you'll feel them twitching. And their foot's moving right now, so sometimes what I'll reach over with the scissors where the knuckle is and just cut the foot off them while it's already extended. And then I'll cut the other foot off. And then spread open the wing. Kind of feel where the wing joins the body and cut that off right there. And then we do our other wing. And clip. And there he is. So I have 3 in the sink right now. And I am going to get them prepared for our Thanksgiving dinner. So you'll see the neck here, there's a windpipe also, and that's right in here. So you get 2 pieces, make sure you get the windpipe out. So the video I watched, I remember the guy telling me that you just take off their feathers like they're pajamas. So here I am, just ripping at the breastbone, just ripping, it just comes, their skin is very thin, it comes right off. So, and don't worry about the feathers, so they'll be rinsed many times before we cook them and eat them. You peel the feathers off the back. This one's got a little bit of fat, which might make it a little extra tasty for us. Peel those feathers off the front there. Now these guys didn't eat last night. That's typically what we do with chickens, although the first set of quail we did, they all accidentally died, so they had food in their bellies, but so I didn't really notice a lot of big difference between them. It just happened to be that we were out of the layer mash outside, so my husband didn't give them the duck starter I had bought, but that's okay. These are our males we're dispatching. We had 14 or 16 out there, and then we had another batch of 9 that were all of age. So I just took all the males because we needed about 12, and then one really raggedy female because she was all plucked at the back. So sometimes the back is a bit hard to get the feathers off, but don't worry about that because we're going to cut down the backbone, and the tail's going to be left behind, and a little bit on the back. Don't worry about that because I have these garden shears, which I found the best thing for cutting bone. So you want to kind of go on either side of the neck. This is the backbone, and just go right in there. Now you're going to hit the rib cage. You're going to cut through the ribs. You hear the cracking. Now I find these shears aren't great with flesh or fat, so sometimes I have to go back with the other scissors to cut through. And then just make sure you stay up tight to the backbone. Don't dig down because the intestines are under there. And you want to cut around where the leg joint is. You'll feel that one go crunch too, that one. And you'll get right down to the tail feather on that side. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Now this guy I just killed, so he's a bit twitchy, even though, you know, there's no head, there's no missing lots of body parts here. This bird is not alive, but is still twitchy. So I did do 3 here so I can kind of do a little streamlined process. So then you pull back Remember I said you had the esophagus here too, make sure you get that. Pull back on the backbone. When you pull back on the backbone, you'll reveal all the intestines. So I have another little bowl over here that I use for that. And this, you can see, was a male. I believe these are the testicles, because I was looking around, and I know in females you see the eggs with the yolks. So you have all the innards there. You want to kind of start at the top with your finger or thumbnail. Kind of dig in behind. Sometimes a little bit of blood will splatter here because of the heart and all the arteries and stuff in there. So you just want to keep it down over the bowl. You just start pulling everything out. And there's a heart if you're so inclined to keep those things. And the liver. The lungs are a bit tricky. See the lung? There's a really bright red color in there. That's a little bit tricky to get out. So sometimes I just take my finger or thumbnail and just scrape it down. And then you keep pulling this down. And there's a big chunk of fat on this one. Grab that bone. If you keep pulling, you'll pull off the tail feathers too. And then you just cut. Like I said, these scissors are better for flesh. So this guy is a little bit of lung tissue left there. I actually don't know if there's a real issue if you eat it or not, but I can easily get it out with my thumb. And then I just switch my bowl back here, put my cold water on, and I'll just rinse it. Now I've noticed when they are really just freshly killed, and when the cold water hits them, they do go twitchy. Just kind of makes you kind of wonder exactly how many nerve endings are in these little birds. I just pluck off any little feathers that are kind of there. And I have, like I said, the backbone that had the back feathers that stuck made no difference because the backbone is all gone now. So rinse it really well here. And see one little feather left behind, I'll pluck that out. And sometimes you get little pin feathers around where maybe the wing was or the backbone. There. Now they'll get one more rinse before we actually eat them, but this is just so I can get them in the cold water bath. So there's my little bird, all filleted. And my 8-year-old son is enjoying this, so he'll learn how to do this in the future. And I just put them in my ice water bath. And then I am all done that one. Just got I got 3 done. I got 2 killed here, and I got 8 more. 8 more left. So now we have all of our prepared quail sitting in ice water. I have a 1.5 Spanish onion diced up. I had a bunch of these garlic scapes left. I cut off all the rough edges, put them in my bullet with some olive oil, salt and pepper and other stuff to blend them. They still look a bit woody. I tenderized them in the microwave for 2 minutes as well. So I'm going to blend these further. I got canned tomatoes, which I have already put in my bowl. And I'm going to be putting my onion and my garlic scapes in there. And I'm going to blend this all up and make a nice sauce for the quail. Okay, so I have my brand new Cuisinart immersion blender. I'm going to give this a try and put everything in here. It's all ready to be blended. Don't pump it up and down, it makes much of a mess. But anyway, gosh, it smells like salsa. It's so good smelling. So I think I'm going to add another can of tomatoes that are diced onto the quail itself when it's in the baking pan, just to give it more red texture because it's pretty blended in now. It looks like it's orange. So now's the time to lay out the quail. I have put them in the pan this way. Leaves a nice hollow gap if you want to put some stuffing of rice or something underneath. But since I'm making a liquid to put over top of them, I'm just going to lie it on their side so that the liquid can fill in that little gap. And some of my quails here only have one leg, but rest assured the other leg is in here somewhere. This is the time to inspect if you left any feathers or anything on that you don't want to have on there to eat. And just lay them all out, and then we can put the sauce on top. So now we're ready to add the sauce. Yeah, it definitely smells like salsa. I think this is like a Tex Mex quail. Onions, garlic, tomatoes, salt and pepper, and a few other seasonings. I keeping the cupboard stuffed with basil and peppers, bell peppers. And it won't be spicy because the kids won't eat it spicy, but it's definitely going to be delicious. So I also had a little olive oil in my garlic scapes. I was trying to make a pesto with my billet. But I'm going to add a little bit more on top just to drizzle a bit more on there. And this is the bell pepper herb I'd use from Pampered Chef. That one I'd already put in there. And I'm going to add a little bit of oregano. And a little bit of basil. And then I'm going to... Actually, did not have a can of diced tomatoes, so we have some tomatoes from our garden diced up to go on the top. I'll get my husband to keep chopping and we'll have that covered up. Okay, we have it loaded with tomatoes. I still want to sprinkle some more oil on the tomatoes. Don't want them to get too dried out. But also I'm going to squish them down a bit so that they're blended with the other stuff so that they don't just dry out, but some of the juices will actually go down inside. And make sure my quail is completely covered. I don't want the quail drying out at all. Very tempted to put cheese on this, but we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to have this with rice. So it's been in the oven for about an hour, 15 minutes or so. Looking pretty good. I'm going to take it out, do the temperature, see if we're cooked. So I found it really hard to get a meaty enough spot to stick my meat thermometer in. So I just took one out and cut it and cut a chunk out of it and then tried it and it was fine. It's all done. It's a dark meat, so it might be a little different when you're looking to see if it's done compared to a chicken. But it's not a very thick meat, so it really doesn't take a lot to cook it. And it really smells delicious.